Gambia government declares curfew lasting for 21 days, effective 6th of August. DRC government launches vaccination campaign to eliminate measles diseases. And the impact of COVID-19 pandemic worsens hunger crisis in Zimbabwe. Well, this and more coming on The World Today. Hello, this is iAfrica TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin. I am Amadou Kante. Many thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. Now, the Gambia government on Wednesday declares a curfew beginning Thursday from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. The curfew will last for 21 days and it takes effect with less than 48 hours. Defaulters, aside from those going out for essential functions, will pay $1,000 fine. In addition, security outfits like the police, immigration officers, others will be out to enforce this, and if the need arises, soldiers will be deployed to help in as well. Well, from that, we stay with matters of the COVID-19 in the Gambia, because the country has registered 2 new deaths and 128 new cases of the COVID-19 on Tuesday, bringing the total number of coronavirus-related deaths to 16 and a total of 799 positive cases since March. According to the latest updates from the Ministry of Health, about 30% of the patients are health workers, mainly from MRC, Pakala hospitals or health facilities rather, and the country currently has 520 people in quarantine, 660 active cases, 74 probable cases, and a crude case fatality ratio of 2.0%. There is some glimmer of hope, as there were 36 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 115. A total number of 81 persons are newly taken into quarantine. The Gambia Red Cross Society has been coordinating burial exercises of all COVID-19 deaths since the death was confirmed in the country. And from that development of the COVID-19 situation in the Gambia, next we head to DRC, because the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo is continuing its vaccination campaign against measles diseases amid the novel coronavirus global pandemic. According to health authorities, there has been a significant drop in the measles cases since the immunization program was relaunched in April. But despite the low number of cases, parents were reluctant to send their children to health facilities to avoid contracting the COVID-19 virus. Here's more details of that in this report.
A measles vaccination campaign was rolled out in the DRC in April this year amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The government decided to continue with its vaccination program to tackle the disease that claimed more than 6,000 people last year. Most of those immunized were children under 5. Health experts have now recorded a huge drop in measles cases.
As of now, the trend of the measles outbreak has totally declined. A few months ago, we were reporting per week between 5,500 cases and 8,000 cases per week. But 2 weeks ago, we reported just 500 cases in the country. So as of now, the trend has considerably decreased in the country. There just have few pockets where we still having a situation and where we are continuing intervention.
Last year, the World Health Organization described the measles outbreak in the DRC as the largest and fastest moving in the world. The announcement of the COVID-19 pandemic in March led health experts to believe the situation could get worse. The pandemic did disrupt the delivery of vaccines and kept some parents away from health centers over fears that their children would get infected.
At the moment, we're still offering health services to tackle the measles epidemic. We have laid down plans for routine activities. but the population has been reluctant to come and get vaccinated against measles. Fortunately, the number of cases has reduced.
La vaccination ou l'antigène.
While the DRC has seen a reduction in measles cases, the WHO and other international experts have urged its leaders to intensify immunization activities throughout the country to reach more children. Measles is a contagious viral disease that is among the leading causes of childhood deaths. In 2018, the DRC government launched an emergency immunization program known as the Mashako Plan to address the low measles vaccination coverage across the country. The program was disrupted by ongoing conflict in the east of the country and more recently by the coronavirus. But thousands of children vaccinated in other parts of the country have helped bring down the number of cases.
And from the report there in DRC, we come back home and report on school matters because students at the Nusrat Senior Secondary School Wednesday embarked on a protest demanding for the return of their teachers and the dismissal of their new principal. The student protesters, who described their principal as autocrat, said he takes advantage of his position and makes decisions that hinders their academic progress. More details of that in this report.
Over 100 students gathered at Nusrat Senior Secondary School premises this morning, demanding the removal of their newly appointed principal. The protesting students, mainly final year students, say the principal should reinstate the teachers he has fired or leave. The students said the principal sacked at least 6 staffs since his appointment. Salimatuba, a student representative, said they don't need a principal who embarks on a massive dismissal of the well-experienced teachers without considering the implications.
We don't need a principal who will do a massive dismissal of well-experienced and adorable teaching staff at his own pace without considering the future implications. We don't need a principal who will do what he thinks is right, not what needs to be done. A principal who will transform structures and not minds. We don't need a principal who had wrong perceptions towards Nusrat. We don't need a principal who will demotivate the staff.
One of the student protesters, Abijame, said the principal's decision has no positive impact on the students.
Because we feel like this principal has been bringing so many changes towards this school, and we feel that it is negative towards us. It is negative towards our studies, towards the mindset of the students and everything that New Zealand is all about. The man has a negative perspective towards New Zealand because he demotivates us. The man does not inspire us at all, and he is always having a negative thinking towards us.
Mamadi Sise, the principal allied to fired 6 teachers, said he is unaware of the sacking of any staff teacher. He said the part-time teachers whose service are no longer needed by the school were relieved of their services.
As part-time teacher, when we need you, it's a temporal appointment, and when the appointment time, the services we need you for, we release you until another time. So those part-time teachers, we told them if they want to be full-time teachers, they can apply and become full-time teachers.
Mr. Sherif Bah, a teacher commonly known as SP, said he is in support of the protesting students.
It was a fantastic move, and then obviously it's marvelous for a simple fact that students also have their rights, because what we believe is that students are the reasons why teachers are teaching. So if students are not given what they need, obviously our purpose will be defeated. And now when our purpose is defeated, what happens? When the purpose is defeated, it's an act of failure.
This is the first time in 41 years students of Nusrat Senior Secondary School embarked on a protest against the administration. For iAfrica TV, Fatmata Fati.
Students there at the Nusrat Senior Secondary School protesting against their principal. Now, with that report there, we will now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Debunking COVID-19 myths. Myth 1.
Masila coronavirus. Kata buka mofi olmutan.
Hey, bari ko coronavirus de amasi fatam fans lo. Malam foi mo mofi nedi. fe mumo ko anda malon fana fe bota Africa la bank fe bota tuwadu comme ngombe nyaaja ba minke ga Africa bank ko kanja and yalla ndol fana la Gambia bo ma man tora kilima ko.
Myth 2.
Yalo ne mpura montere Gambia ja. Mpura mkabulu ndulamu yalo akandisal.
Mpura sa darano dula bele. Dula min kandito anin dula min sumiya. Fanya man nyin dende nya banko. Isa min keno ko kan fo tanka nyin tura wala mun kambulo ko wato wati. Pour nyin tura jankar keso min bambulo baran sa fano nyame. Nkaka sombulo kandama numo aminya.
Myth 3.
Foto nyalo mbang iko ni kanye lajo dom ake tanka ni corona jankarola
hani de kisikisir ma woye tande ite kontine ke bulo ko jeni safunol ye mitar kilim konto buleni mol tema anim fana jata kende abunda tan ko ya tande nyami isa wono ma pour que fo tanka nyami ani kanuntel.
Myth 4.
Num corona mo kombo courant dala santoso num corona man futa wata
hani de amanti ko mine nyi sa sot kombon kol da male yaso modol be kono le mini ya lonko e bota nyi santol de.
Welcome back, and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin on Africa TV. And now to the rest of the stories. Now, residents of Abuko Nema have raised concern over the poor drainage system and bad roads in the area amidst heavy downpour. In an interview with iAfrica on Tuesday, residents pleaded for the government to come to their aid. Here's more details of that in this report.
Residents of Abuko Nema expressed frustration at the frequent water erosion that has threatened lives and livelihoods for years. The erosion is as a result of the heavy downpour. They said when it rains, their roads are inaccessible. Teneng Kamara, a native, said they experience the same challenges every year despite efforts by the residents to put the situation under control.
Our suffering is not about hunger or shelter. It's all about the rainy season. When it starts to rain, especially during the night, we find it difficult to sleep. Every year we do try to construct a fence to ensure the safety of our children. But when it rains heavily, it destroys everything. Now at this point we are hopeless and we have no other solution except to wait for the intervention of God.
Another resident who raised concerns on the condition of people living in the area said the bridge that was available to facilitate the movement of people to the other side faces serious setback over the past years. She said as a result, youths in the area were forced to construct a wooden bridge to enable the residents to cross to the other side of the road.
It is so terrible. It is so terrible. We are living in a terrible condition. We are urging each and everyone, people in the diaspora, philanthropists, we are urging you to come and help us. Definitely, we are living in a terrible situation. I myself, when it rains, I cannot go to work because of the road is not good. The bridge we have is not good. It's a local made. We made it here. We the youths made it. We do our efforts. We go and buy timbers. The youths, the male and female, we both do the job here. Just last week, see the job we do. But when the rain comes, all has gone. So we are urging government to come and help us. People are coming here every raining season. They will come, they will help. Please, please come for our help. We need help. Abukonema, we need help.
During the rainy season, many parts of the Gambia experience difficulty accessing the main roads due to poor drainage systems and bad roads. The Abukonema residents call on the government and philanthropists to come and solve the life-threatening menace for them. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Khadija Seika.
And from the report there by Khadija Seika, next we head to Zimbabwe because the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has heightened the hunger crisis in remote communities in the country. With the deteriorating economic pressure in the country, vulnerable households are in dire situation to provide food for their families. International donors, including the WFP, have been providing food aid to affected areas to remedy the situation. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Opa Kanongani is a single mother of 3 in Hopely, an informal settlement on Harare's southern fringe. This porridge is the only meal she and her children will have until supper, when they will have the staple maize meal and what greens they can pick from a depleted vegetable garden. The little she's able to feed her children is courtesy of a monthly cash transfer from the World Food Programme. But the funds have been eroded by a deteriorating economy where the local currency has depreciated and inflation is soaring.
I get the equivalent of $9 per child, which is $27, but all my expenses are now in dollars, including rent and some basic foodstuffs. So what I get is only enough to pay for accommodation and a bucket of maize meal. There's no cooking oil or relish or soap.
The struggle to make ends meet has been worsened by the COVID-19 crisis.
I used to be a vendor, but since the lockdown began, we are being chased from the streets by the police. And with my children, I can't engage in those running battles.
With the combined threat of the drought, the economic recession, and now the coronavirus pandemic threatening to push hard-hit communities further to the brink, donors are stepping up their efforts.
In rural areas, we've shifted to in-kind assistance instead of cash assistance. So that's a package of grain, usually maize or sorghum, as well as oil and pulses as well. Now, in urban areas, given the circumstances, we have remained with cash-based assistance, and cash-based assistance in the form of either USD cash or through a voucher system. Either way, given inflation, we have adjusted the transfer values over the past couple of months from $9 to now $12 per person per household.
Hopefully, that will be accompanied by an improvement in the economy so that vulnerable families like Opa's can survive the impending emergency.
And from the report there in Zimbabwe, finally we head to South Africa because South Africa's is close to reaching the peak of the COVID-19 infections despite the government effort to cope the spread of the virus. The trend is unlikely to change unless citizens change their attitude, according to the experts. Here's more details of that.
The virus has struck down many, and government officials haven't been spared. 3 provincial premiers and 4 cabinet ministers have contracted the virus. But it appears, from anecdotal evidence, that people aren't too concerned about the virus.
I don't think they take it seriously because they're traveling without wearing masks around, and then people, they don't comply about the distance that has been mentioned, that we must give it to each other.
It's been suggested that a large part of the current non-compliance has to do with fatigue.
The starting point is attitudinal. Our attitude has been, this is getting in the way of our life. And it's beginning with the lockdown. We're tired of the lockdown. It's getting into our nerves. We want to get out there and do stuff. And that this is where you you throw care to the wind.
Compliance with government regulations is patchy, with some suggesting that there are 2 sets of rules.
Maybe in the workplace, whereby you find out that people at work they put the mask, but the people somewhere around in the locations, they're just working free. Even some of bosses, you find them inside the shop, whereby the workers have got to wear masks, but the bosses are not wearing masks. So they're not taking it seriously.
Pandemics Data and Analytics is an organization challenging the government-backed modelers on their predictions. It says that wearing a mask won't necessarily prevent the spread of the disease.
It's even hard to show an impact for medical masks worn properly by people who know how to fit them and know how to use them properly. So I would find it, I wouldn't really believe somebody who said they'd done a major study and look, the ordinary cloth mask wearing is effective. I think that's quite a speculative thing to say.
With the relaxation in retail regulations, many malls are now open, but not everyone is following the rules.
When I'm going through the shops, I find some people they not follow the rules about the coronavirus. Some people they washing hands with sanitizer. Some people they just get in the shops without washing the hands with the sanitizer.
Funerals are also a large contributor to infections. Large funeral gatherings are a fundamental part of most African societies.
I come to your house when you have a bereavement because I love you. And as I do that, I'm actually endangering your life. So there was a time when we talked about the tension between lives and livelihoods. Now it is a tension between love and lives.
As South Africa heads towards that peak, it's all about people's behavior and adhering to the rules and the regulations. And if they don't do that, the spike is going to continue.
The coronavirus, of course, pandemic continued to spread in South Africa despite government's effort to contain the situation. Well, viewers, with that report there in South Africa, we finally brings this news bulletin to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, you can on our website, hornafrica.tv. Once again, many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and bye for now.
Debunking COVID-19 myths. Myth 1.
I'm not scared of COVID-19. Africans cannot contract the virus.
COVID-19 can affect anyone of any race, nationality or skin color, as we have seen in many African countries, including the Gambia.
Myth 2.
Is it true eating garlic can help you prevent getting COVID-19?
No, there is no evidence for that. Keep washing your hands. Maintain at least 1 meter physical distance from others and use the preventive measures to protect yourself and the people you love.
Myth 3.
Hey, did you know that Gambia is spared? COVID-19 cannot survive in hot climates.
Actually, COVID-19 survives in all climates, hot or cold. Look at our neighboring country. We have to continue washing our hands and avoid touching our eyes, nose, and mouth.
Myth 4.
COVID-19 that only affects the urban areas. We are not affected here in the rural areas.
No, not all cases are in the combos. There are confirmed COVID-19 cases in other regions of the Gambia.
Maria, ibe ni fi won lampi kan. E won kaspa o jibe. Ko fo fila banta. Ko do fila ila kaspa o sanna.
Ko do bar so ko tale ko. Ko do ngam Mamadou Kumandi ba. Hello. Mamadou. Abijan dron ko tarande. Du ko rimbala yende manan kaspa wala say. Ha bantale hadi pensiji. Yo, okay, mbabatuna. Abarka ba kayame.
Maria.
No.
Ite Mamadou batara no bantala banko kan nyadi le ka kaspa o kini te jang. Say.
Ngodo. Fe malon ko ballo ya kala ko dani. Ibe bantala banko kan dawoda. Ese kaspa o kino kana gambeja. Ado abe tariyari nyami. Aba soni yari wala fana nyami.
Inyanta min kela drong wala ka log onto www.baluo.com. Ye prepaid electricity sang min ka bonale electricity company solto min bale Gambia banko kanjang, Senegal, Mali, Nigeria and Sierra Leone.